from the station you count on for local news that matters. This is KARK 4 News at 6.
A developing story, a jury convicting a man accused of kidnapping and killing another man, Daryl Dennis, sentenced to life without parole. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Ashley Katz.
Good evening, I'm Bob Clausen. The Pulaski County jury convicts a Little Rock man for the murder of a college student 2 summers ago in a case that prompted changes to the state's parole system. Very wide-reaching. KARK4's Drew Petrimo joining us now live at the Pulaski County Courthouse with more on this. And Drew, you follow this thing from the very beginning. Big developments today, big developments throughout, really. And where do we stand?
Now, well, after all this time, it took less than an hour for a jury to unanimously convict Daryl Dennis guilty of capital murder. Dennis will be sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. It was an emotional ending to a case that's rocked the family of Forrest Abrams. The case caused an uproar over the state's parole system as Dennis had been in and out of jail and prison. He was freed less than 2 days before killing Forrest Abrams. Since then, changes have been made to the parole system, and Abrams' stepfather spoke about that outside the courtroom.
There's a lot of negatives that come out in things like this in these trials, and there's a lot of negativity. The positive things are Forrest and Forrest's nature, his kind nature, and then eventually these changes that have been taking place and will continue to take place with the parole system. They're way overdue.
Now, on the stand Wednesday morning, jurors heard from a key witness, a friend of Forrest Abrams named Tyler Hodges. He testified the two were kidnapped by Daryl Dennis and 2 other men while trying to buy drugs at a Little Rock gas station. He escaped, the friend escaped, but Abrams did not, and Abrams was later found dead. Now, as Dennis was taken away off to jail, I asked if he had anything to say. He maintained that he did not kill Forrest Abrams. In court, he made it clear that he planned to appeal the conviction. Reporting live at the Pulaski County Courthouse, I'm Drew Petrimo.
All right, Drew, thank you very much. And a number of people, including some Little Rock medical field employees, appeared in federal court today. They're accused of taking part in a prescription drug operation that spans across 4 different states. KARK4's Melissa Schroeder is outside the U.S. courthouse with more on what happened.
9 of the people charged in the prescription drug ring faced a federal court judge today. This was an arraignment hearing. Basically what that means is it's their first court appearance, and we are not allowed to bring cameras inside there. So what we're going to do is show you video of the arrest from Wednesday. All the defendants entered the courtroom in Pulaski County Jail, jumpsuits, shackled at the waist and ankles. Most face charges of conspiracy to possess with intent to distribute. If convicted, the punishment could be up to 20 years in prison and a $1 million fine. All 9 men and women pleaded not guilty, and the judge released them on certain conditions, such as turning over their passports and not drinking alcohol. The judge set a trial date for each defendant to June 29th, but he says that date will likely be pushed back as far as 3 years before any of these trials ever happen. We're reporting from Little Rock. Melissa Schroeder, KARK4 News.
A Northwest Arkansas jury hearing testimony in the sentencing of Zach Hawley, convicted of raping and killing 6-year-old Jersey Bridgman. Wednesday, the jury found Zachary Hawley guilty on all 4 charges against him: residential burglary, kidnapping, rape, and murder. Today, Hawley's ex-wife testified about his poor family life, saying his mother was not a good mom, noting a time when she witnessed Hawley and his family smoking meth together. Hawley faces life in prison or the death penalty.
And the man who led law enforcement on a 2-month run sentenced today for escape. Timothy Buffington, who escaped from the Pine Bluff prison complex in June 2014, will serve an additional 18 years with no possibility of parole after pleading guilty. If the case could have gone to trial and Buffington convicted, he would have been sentenced to up to 40 years or life in prison on just the kidnapping charge.
A silver alert issued in Montgomery County tonight for a man named William Pete Davidson Jr. He has been missing since Wednesday. He's about 5'11" and weighs 250 pounds. He wears glasses. He also has a prosthetic right leg. He was last seen wearing a plaid button-down short-sleeve shirt, black pants, and black shoes near Senior Center in Mount Ida. Now, if you think you've seen him, you're asked to contact law enforcement.
Governor Asa Hutchinson releasing details today of a proposed super project in Camden. The governor is asking the legislature to approve $87 million in bonds, with most of the money going to physical improvements to the Highland Industrial Park complex. Legislature is set to meet in special session next week to discuss the project, which is designed to help Lockheed Martin win a contract with the Defense Department to produce thousands of military vehicles.
A retention of existing employees, and secondly, over time, we will double the number of employees.
Many things can come up during the session. Specifically, the legislature will discuss moving up the state's presidential primary election and changing the DWI laws. Also, during the press conference, Mr. Hutchinson proposed agency consolidations. He says will save the state $10 million over 5 years.
You may have noticed a smoother ride in several downtown Little Rock streets, but some are not happy with the direction they're going.
That's right. Those people say the city isn't following a complete streets of the plan of the board of directors approved last month. As KRK4's Josh Berry reports, it's been a back and forth battle for months now, Josh, in some cases an up and down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Bob. Ashley, crews were repaving Chester Street in downtown Little Rock today, but the plans to lay the traffic lane markings back down is what has some unhappy. Now, a recently passed city ordinance says Little Rock will incorporate a complete streets plan that considers the safety of all users, vehicles, bicycles, buses, pedestrians. Now, this group worried that plan isn't happening here.
In the city of Little Rock, a new coat of pavement would usually mean a new coat of updated street lines. It would fall in line with a complete streets ordinance passed in April, but some worry it won't happen here.
It's worked for everybody. Why it's not being implemented on Chester, we don't know.
Ed Sargent lives in this area of the Quapaw Quarter and says there are several reasons why Chester Street should be turned into a 3-lane road, one in each direction with a center turn lane.
The middle school, the elementary, the community garden, and the library.
Chester, along with Daisy Gatz and Bates Drive, have both been repaved. Ed says they've been told Daisy Bates will get the new design, but Chester likely won't.
I was told that our director decided to call a halt to it.
But they have no explanation.
We don't know why.
Letters of support for the new design have been sent to the city from businesses and institutions along both streets, including Philander Smith College, Little Rock Central High, and the Quapaw Quarter Association. All additional reasons Ed wants to see a safer South Chester rather than reverting to what it was.
This is a look backwards instead of a look forward.
Now, Chester was 2 lanes in each direction without a center turn lane and no bicycle lanes. Now, the city says the temporary markings on the street right now that you saw in the video will have to stay there until they can discuss this restriping issue at next Tuesday's agenda meeting. Back to you.
All right, Josh, thanks very much. Now to a KRK4 News update for you. The city of Monticello fighting back against a lawsuit. Recent filings accuse Siemens Industry of fraud. This is the latest step in a battle between the two over a $10 million contract to overhaul the water meter system. Monticello claims Siemens misrepresented themselves and installed the wrong water meters without consent.
A push to help sick babies get quality nutrition starting in Batesville. The Mother's Milk Bank of North Texas and the Independence County Health Unit in Batesville are starting a breast milk donation program. Now, the grand opening is happening June 3rd at the health unit there in Independence County, where donors can drop off milk Monday through Friday from 8 until 4:30 p.m. Now, donors are screened free of charge through their medical histories and blood tests. Donor milk is safely stored in a freezer before being shipped overnight to Mother's Milk Bank in North Texas, where it is then thawed, pasteurized, packaged, and then dispensed to doctors by prescription to NICUs and medically needy babies at home.
Still to come this evening at 6 o'clock, the Flame of Hope. There it is, symbolizing inclusion and acceptance. Why this Olympic torch is in Central Arkansas.
And it was a cool but sunny afternoon across a good part of Arkansas today. High temperatures well below average for this time of year. In Little Rock, we should be up to 82 this time of May. Only made it to 68 this afternoon. We're going to plunge into the 40s and 50s tonight. Temperatures rise over the weekend, but so do rain chances. We'll have your forecast in just a couple minutes.
From the station that brings you local news that matters, this is KARK 4 News at 6 in high definition. With Bob Clausen, Ashley Katz, Chief Meteorologist Keith Monahan, and Aaron Peters with your Razorback Nation report.